Hi. I'm just checking, you should be able to see my screen. So hi, my name is Babs. I'm the recruitment officer from the Warwick International Foundation program at the University of Warwick. Yeah, you can all see my screen, that's perfect. So for today's session, we'll be going through essentially the foundation program and how it prepares students to enter into top UK universities. So first, what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit more about the University of Warwick as a whole, and then depending on your qualifications and where you are currently in your study process, how the foundation would then help you enter the university if you're unable to go directly through our undergraduate entry point. So first things first, when it comes to University of Warwick, we're not actually located in the town of Warwick. We're located in the south of the city, Coventry. So you can see us now on the map. We're essentially in the heart of England. So we're part of the United Kingdom, and we're in an area called the West Midlands. So you can see that we are about an hour and a half from London Heathrow Airport, which is where most students would arrive, and about 20 minutes from Birmingham International and 25 minutes from the city of Birmingham, which is the second biggest city in England. And then in terms of Coventry, we're the 10th biggest city. So it's still a good city to be in. And then what I'll show you here is an aerial shot of our university campus. So our campus is actually made of 3 campuses: Westwood Campus, main campus, and Gibbet Hill campus. Students would typically study in main campus and Westwood campus. The IFP itself is located in Westwood campus. So what you're seeing here is the main academic buildings, and then on the side next to the lakes would be accommodation, and this is quite spread out all across the university. So students experience all of this while on the foundation. Just also giving you an idea about size, we currently have around about 27,000 students on all the different study levels at the university, and within that number, almost 10,000 are international students, and then we have over 6,000 staff as well at the university. So that's a lot of people, and it gives you an idea of the size of the university. And then just a bit more about us in terms of ranking and quality of the institution. We're currently ranked 6th by the Garden ranking 2022, sorry, not 21. We're 9th by Times and Sunday Good University 2022, and we're 9th by the Complete University Guide. So as an institution, we're consistently ranked within the top 10 of UK universities, which again goes to show you the quality of the university and how it's also perceived by others, which can be important for students looking to stay on and enter the workforce after completing their studies. So we're also well sought after by graduate employers. And then in world rankings, we're ranked 61 by the QS University's world rankings and 78. So again, we also have that international reputation that helps students when they return to their home countries with their degrees, or if they are looking to go into other countries outside of their own and outside of the UK as well. So in terms of how the studies are set up at the university, we're split between arts, sciences, and social sciences. And then within that, you have all the different departments. So students can go and study any degrees that fall within these different subject areas. So we've got a number of degrees under this computer science department, under the engineering, such as data sciences. We've got electronic engineering. We've also got electrical and electronic engineering as an idea of studies that students have. Then our business school, which is quite a strong reputation, has accounting and finance and management programs, variations of economics, law programs, as well as math and stats. But we're more of a traditional university, so that's why you see that we focus mainly on arts, sciences, and social sciences. We don't have some of the degrees that you can see, like digital marketing or artificial intelligence, which are in some of the more modern, younger universities. And we also do have cross-faculty studies, and by that we mean you can study something like global sustainable development or liberal arts alongside another degree. For example, students can study sociology and global sustainable development. So you can study across faculties. And then just to give you an idea, so you've got all of that at the university, and how does the foundation help students to get there? So if you've heard of foundation programs before, then this will make a bit of sense to you. If you haven't, I'll start from the beginning. So there are essentially different ways to prepare to study in UK universities. It's either you're coming through with UK or international qualifications, that would be something like A-levels or an IB, and those are usually qualifications you've studied over a 2-year period. You may be completing some local high school qualifications, so depending where you're currently located, your completion of high school certificate would be enough to enter in directly. Some countries you may find that you won't be allowed to enter in directly with your completion of high school certificate. You would need to take a bridging program, so a top-up, and that helps top up your existing qualifications. So those would be the 3 category students looking to enter in a UK university may find themselves in. And this is kind of a visual representation. So you would consider the Warwick IFP to be the same level as A-levels and IB diplomas. So based on that, we don't actually accept students who complete A-levels or IB diplomas as they're eligible for direct entry, as they would if they had completed the IFP. So then in terms of the IFP itself and just foundations in general, just things for you to look out for. So with the Warwick IFP, we're actually one of the longest running foundation programs in the world. We're delivered at the University of Warwick by Warwick academics, which can be different to external providers who deliver them on behalf of universities. This is all done at Warwick by Warwick. And this means that we understand the quality points, and our academic teams do talk to each other to make sure that what we're delivering on the foundation is to the right standard for the undergraduate studies. And then our students are able to progress into most of the degree programs at the University of Warwick. And one of the great things as well is our program is also considered by pretty much all UK universities. That's including top universities such as UCL, LSE, King's, Durham, to name a few. And we do help our students with the process of applying to those universities alongside the University of Warwick. We do have also a tailored English provision, so students would be grouped together based on their IELTS, and then they would be able to learn not English, but you're tailoring your English in towards your academic discipline, which I'll explain a bit more in a moment. And then we also have a unique inquiry and research skills module, and our foundation is split over 10 academic pathway streams. So the 10 streams are business management, finance, mathematics and statistics, economics, computer science, physics and engineering, biological sciences and psychology, social science, law, arts and humanities. So students would take one of these 10 foundation streams, and then they'll be able to progress into degrees which are relating to the foundation they've studied. So you'd break it all down a little bit more. So it doesn't mean that you just go into law. You can potentially go into politics, international relations, international studies from law foundation stream. Same with some of our social science foundation streams. So the different modules students study give them a variety of degrees at Warwick and outside of Warwick as well. So our foundation is kind of split up into 3 main parts in terms of our course structure. You're going to be focusing on your academic discipline, and then you've got an inquiry and research skills focus, then an academic English focus. So this is how this would be split up. So it's essentially our course, as I mentioned earlier, is fully designed to help prepare students to study at degree level and beyond. So in terms of your academic discipline, students would be studying usually 3 to 5 modules related to the discipline. So as an example, a business management student would study global economy as a module, essential mathematics as a module, organizational behavior. These are all related to business, and you'll notice that when you look at the undergraduate first year program for a number of different universities, including Warwick, you'll see that those would also be topics they would study in the undergrad. So we're helping students get that foundational understanding first, so that it's not all entirely new to them, and then it helps them again with the skills process to be able to cope and transition into undergraduate study. And then our academic studies would always be split into lectures, seminars and tutorials. You're looking at lectures being grouped together with all students who are studying similar modules as you would at the undergraduate level, and then seminars and tutorials are smaller class sizes. And then students studying any of our science courses are going to be having laboratory sessions the same as you would at undergraduate level, and everything is taught by subject specialists, which is also really important. And then outside of your academic discipline, as I said, you've got those 4 to 5 academic modules, then you've got inquiry and research skills module. So this is a full module as well. And this is where essentially students are putting all the skills they're learning into practice, and you're developing, as the title says, deeper analysis skills, deeper research skills, deeper inquiry skills, which are related to your chosen discipline. So if you're in a social science subject, you'll be doing inquiry and research skills in relation to social sciences. You've got students who are doing it in relation to mathematics for those maths-based subjects, and then in relation to sciences for those science-based subjects. And everything you're doing is helping you to think differently and engage with research differently, as how you do it in your home country may be different to how we do it under the UK education system. And then that also changes as you go up in levels of study into your undergraduate and even postgraduate degree. So we kind of give you those skills now to kind of help you go all the way in all the studies you're going to continue throughout your time in the UK. And then we do assess you throughout the program, and we do have a research project in term 3, which is similar to what happens to students in their third year of an undergraduate degree when they do a research project, which is usually a dissertation. So you're starting all of that at the foundation stage. And then including those obviously 3 to 5 academic modules, plus the inquiry and research skills module, you have an English for academic purposes modules. And it's important, as I was saying earlier, that this module is not where students are being taught English. This module is actually where students are learning to use English in a more refined way in relation, again, to their academic discipline. So the way you'd analyze different studies or text in a science-based subject would be different to how you do it in a social science subject or a maths-based subject. So you'd also have different presentation skills, and then students obviously on courses which are similar to law would have to learn how to debate, as that's fundamental to the degree program and the career. And then you're looking more again at how you discuss in different modules, how that changes, and then also again the academic writing, how you'd be writing for different types of assessments. So that's where you'd be that's what students focus on learning in English for academic purposes. It's not where you're learning English, as you would have done that to get your IELTS or whichever qualification we accept from you to join the program. And then outside of those modules, we then also do provide a lot of support to students. So as I said before, our students are university students essentially. So you'd be getting a dedicated personal tutor, and that person will be with you throughout the whole program, and they will help you with all your different questions at different stages. We also have a personal tutor group, as they have other students they are tutoring, and then you'd be able to join them. We have a school counsellor who helps with your progression, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then we have student staff liaison committees. That's where students can connect with staff to help us with reviewing and feedbacking on the program and helping us develop the program and making sure it's the best for students while they're on it. And then at the same time, we also have additional top-up classes for different subjects that students may need as part of progression. As students may find that they need to have taken a STEP or a GCSE subject, and we give students the opportunity to top up for those for free. And then this is just an idea as well about what degree programs students would typically be able to progress into. So this is just a small number, and we've just condensed it to give you a little bit more information. So as you can see from here, that students can progress into a number of degrees from multiple IFP streams. So it's always advisable that you figure out first what degree you want to study, and then you work your way backwards to what foundation stream you potentially need. I wouldn't suggest you look at the foundation stream first, then find the degree. And we're always there to help you to make sure that you're where it matches up, not just at Warwick, but also at other universities, should you choose to want to go elsewhere. So a lot of the university's popular courses are obviously on here, along with computer science, PPE, which is quite popular. Morse is also a very popular course at the university. So these are all available for students. And again, like I said, this is a condensed version. We have over 70 degree programs students can go into. So something about the course to be aware of. So our students are guaranteed a conditional offer for the undergraduate program at the University of Warwick, and as I said before, we're widely accepted by other UK universities. And how progression works is we have an in-school counsellor who's our education liaison officer, and they would be providing advice and guidance for the UCAS process and university choices, as well as career options. So our students actually apply from their undergraduate studies through UCAS. So that means they'll have the same choices as a student who would be applying directly. They would have that guaranteed offer to Warwick, and then 4 other institutions they can apply for. And then they'll have the ability to receive all their offers back and choose 2 as their main and their backup, essentially insurance offer. And then they'll be completing the IFP knowing that they need to achieve these grades for these 2 institutions. So they essentially will always have somewhere that they'll be able to progress into. And then in terms of what our students have on campus, our students are fully integrated into the university. So students live, study, and have access to all the facilities alongside undergraduate students, which is really important for that transition to UK study and university study as well. So you're always going to be treated as a university level student. And then when it comes to the delivery of our program, we actually follow the Warwick undergraduate academic calendar, which means it's a September to June program. We only have 1 intake per year, as our students would be spending that January intake applying for their undergraduate studies while on the program. We do have additional holidays, however. So just to give an idea of terms, it's a September till December is a term 1, January till March is a term 2, and then you'd be looking at April till beginning of July would be term 3 for students. Our students participate in all of the university's Welcome Week programs, which is some places call them Freshers Week. They have access to all of the facilities, clubs and societies, which is over 65 sports societies and 65 sports clubs and over 250 societies. So students have access to all of that as you're fully enrolled at the university. And then in terms of the academic modules, you're looking at up to 4 hours per week of taught time per module when it comes to academic modules. And as I said, you'd be having around about 3 to 5 academic modules throughout the whole program, but those modules can either be full course or half course modules. By half course module, that means the module is taught essentially per term, and then a full course module is taught throughout the whole year. Usually in a whole term, a student has 5 modules that they'll be studying, which is including the EAP module and the the EAP module, which is the English for academic purposes, and the inquiry and research skills module. So you're having 5 modules throughout, and usually within that, 3 of them would be academic for that section. And then, as I said before, it's delivered across campus. So it's within the Westwood Campus where I said the IFP is based, and then it's also on the main campus, and students are easily able to walk between campuses, or they may choose accommodation nearer to Westwood Campus. So everything is open to students, and they're guaranteed that accommodation for the foundation as well as the first year of undergraduate studies. So in terms of entry criteria, I think it's important for us to outline this for students. So our Warwick Foundation program is not a course for students who have missed the grades which are required for direct undergraduate entry. So as I said before, we don't accept A-level students who completed A-level or the IB diploma, as they would be eligible for direct entry. And this also is the case if a student has not taken the right subject mix. You still would not be able to join the foundation, because we're seeking the best candidates and students who essentially have the potential to succeed at Warwick from their high school qualifications. Okay, so the entry requirements do vary depending on the education system that you're studying, and we've pretty much encountered most education systems out there. So what we'd always request is that you would email us either a copy of your transcripts, or you'd let us know which country you'd be applying from and what education system you've studied under, and then we'll be able to advise you on the entry requirements and the grades we're looking for. But we're usually asking students to have achieved top grades, so high quality students. And then a bit more about the application process, as it would be different to a direct undergraduate application process. So for the IFP, students actually apply directly to the University of Warwick, and this would be done through our website, which is www.warwick.ac.uk/IFP. Students are paying a £55 application assessment fee, and then you'd be submitting your most recent score transcripts. So that's either your term 1 report, or it would be predicted grades depending on what you're studying, and this would be for your final year of studies. And then you would also submit a personal statement, and I'll kind of break that down a little bit more in a minute. And then applications typically will get responded to within 3 to 5 working days. That's either us asking for information or us being able to issue you with a conditional offer. Usually, depending again on your circumstance, you may get invited to an academic interview. This is usually over Teams or Skype or Zoom, and it's either also over a phone call if it's accessible to you. And if you're successful, you receive that conditional offer. And then deadlines for accepting offer and paying deposits are always outlined on your offer. And we always provide these details essentially once you get something back from us. So as I said, I'll break down the personal statement a little bit more to you. So our personal statement is different to an undergraduate personal statement for direct entry. Students for our personal statement would be looking at completing 3 to 4 questions depending on the circumstances. So the typical 3 questions would be why you're applying for the Warwick IFP and why does your chosen course subject area interest you? And again, you'd have 200 words to do this. And then why does the Warwick IFP relate to your future undergraduate choices and career ambition? And then we'd split up the next question 3 into 3 parts where students only answer one of the following 3 questions. Oh, sorry, let me just go back there. So students answer one of the following. And you can see that each question has 200 words. So we're asking students to really get their point across in 600 words, which can be quite difficult. But it's also important for us to assess how good of a student you are. And these personal statements are also how we shortlist students for any scholarships that would be offering on the foundation program. So it's important that students are really answering exactly what the question says. So different to an undergraduate application, which has to be a bit vague and a little bit more, it has to be not vague, but I mean, you're not specifying the institution you want to go into. Here, we really want you to have done your research on the IFP, the research on the university, and even the degree program and the career path and how the IFP helps you to get there as you answer each of these questions. We want to see that evidence that you've read up on the modules and what you're going to be learning on the program, as that helps us see that you're really strong and dedicated candidate to then be potentially shortlisted for any of our scholarship programs. So that would be the personal statement. I haven't listed the 4th question, but the 4th question basically asks you to list any, basically list what you've been doing if you have a study gap. So if you're coming straight from your high school education into the foundation, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to answer the 4th question. But for students who have taken a year out of their studies and finished maybe last year, or even taken 2 years out of their studies, or potentially even have gone into the first year of university education but decided that they want to try and complete their studies elsewhere, they would all have to outline that in the personal statement so that we have a clear idea of your academic profile. And then in terms of interviews and conditional offers, which I mentioned that you may be invited to interview, an academic interview as part of the assessment process. Interviews are on a case-by-case basis, so that means not every student will be invited to an interview. Usually, this would be potentially because your your mathematics level is not where we'd want it on a normal application. So we may ask you for an maths interview where we'd test your maths level. There's a personal statement interview. If we find that we're not getting the information we need from the personal statement, we would then interview for further background. And then students studying our computer science stream would actually have to watch a computer science video to make sure that they have a clear understanding of the program and what they'll be signing themselves up for. And then in terms of conditional offers, when you'd receive a conditional offer, it would usually state that you'd need to provide us with the following. It would be a passport data page, your English language qualification. So for students who require a visa to study in the UK, we would then accept UKVI IELTS or PTE academic UKVI test. We wouldn't be able to accept other English language tests, as we have to accept SELT. So that's secure English language tests. And that's because of the type of CAS and visa you'd be getting for the IFP. And then we'd also ask for your final high school grades if you haven't yet graduated. So don't worry if you haven't graduated. It doesn't mean you can't apply. As I said, we'd be taking your term 1 or predicted grades, and then we'd use those for that conditional offer, which would await your final grades to turn into an unconditional offer. And students would also be required to pay a £2,000 deposit in order to secure their place on the program, and then we'll be able to move forward with your visa process and kind of getting you ready to arrive in the UK. So that's the main information when it comes to the foundation program, and just kind of giving you an outline of how to potentially start thinking about how to get into top universities such as the University of Warwick or even other universities out there, depending on your qualifications. So if you have any questions and you've got queries of whether the foundation is where you should be going or if you're eligible for direct entry, please do contact myself, or you can even send an email just to our general inquiries inbox. So that would be ifp@warwick.ac.uk. You'd be able to send through any transcripts that you have, and we'd be able to work with you to at least align you either with the right academic departments at the university, or just help you know how to start your process with the foundation. And then you can also email myself as the recruitment officer on the program. My email address is stated there, but I'd always advise you also to check out our website, as it does hold a lot of the information that you need. So that would be pretty much it in terms of the presentation for myself. So I'm not sure if there's a question and answer portion, but that's also an option available for students.